What's going on, guys? Back again today to talk about, as you can tell by the title, the new season of Rick and Morty. So this is going to be a short video because I really don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about it. In fact, it's nothing really negative at all. It's just like it's an okay season so far. The big takeaway thing from this season really is the fact that it's brand new, two brand new voice actors, one for Morty and one for Rick. Now, all the stuff that came out about like with the controversial shit with Justin Roiland that got him like let go from the show and whatnot, and he's no longer involved. It kind of sucks because like he's one of like he was there on like the ground level of the show. Like for a while, I was kind of like, is it still gonna be Rick and Morty without this guy? In my opinion, the answer is yes. And really, all it came down to me was when I first found out that there were going to be new voice actors for Rick and Morty. The first thing I did was I went online and I checked out like who has been the writers, who writes this stuff, because that's where the funny comes from. Like Justin Roiland's delivery of the jokes and the quippy lines can be mimicked by a good mimic, but the writer, like who's writing this stuff? And I did my research and I found out that it's actually a plethora of people, Justin Roiland being only one of them, and all of the others are still actively working on the show and writing for Rick and Morty. So I knew that the humor was probably still going to be there. I knew that everything I loved about Rick and Morty, the setting, the story, the way the jokes land, all that was probably still going to be there as long as they could get voice actors. Well, this is what it really was going to come down to. Could they get voice actors to properly do Rick and Morty? And the answer is yes, they did. Morty is almost identical. Like Morty, I really I never heard a difference in Morty. Morty sounds exactly the same. Rick, I'll say this. If I had not known it was a new voice actor going into this, I don't know if I would have noticed. But because I did and I was listening for it, there were a few moments, especially at the beginning, like watching the first episode, where I thought I could tell. I was like, that sounds a little different than normal Rick. But as I got into episode 2, I binge watched every episode that's currently out all in like one night. So as I got into like episode 2 and 3 and whatnot, it started to be like I just forgot about it. Next thing you know, I'm just watching the show and it's just Rick and Morty to me. So I thought that was cool. Uh, I will say this: the episodes have been interesting. There's been good humor, good jokes. I will say this, spoiler alert for those that have not seen it, okay? It's a pretty big spoiler. Three, two, one. So, as of the end of this is season 7. So, as of the end of season 5, when Evil Morty escapes the central finite curve, and we find out Rick's backstory, and we find out about the the thing well, actually, this has been set up since episode 1, season 3, where Rick reveals that his wife and he was approached by an alternate reality version of himself. He was in his garage working on inventing teleportation, portal travel, and an alternate version of himself came through a portal and offered him portal fluid. It's basically like, I'll just give it to you. Like, you're going to invent it at some point. I'll just give it to you. And he said, no, no thanks. And he decided he was going to quit being a scientist, or at least he claimed to. He said he was going to quit being a scientist and just spend time with his family. And then that same alternate version of himself killed his family, killed his wife and daughter. That's all apparently true. I don't know if that's all apparently true. All of that. The part that was a lie in that season 3 episode 1 premiere was where he immediately just scribbled out the formula for portal fluid on the ground right then and there. No, like Rick, he wallowed in depression for like quite a while, and then he set out to figure out portal fluid and track this fucker down. So it's been building up since season 3 episode 1 that like there is a alternate version of Rick out there that is like his normal, that is like it's like his ultimate nemesis, right? Rick finally hunts him down and kills him in like episode 4. Might be episode 5. I think it's 4. So yeah. it's kind of like it kind of reminded me of the feeling watching it kind of reminded me of the feeling of like in the final season of Game of Thrones. It's only 6 episodes, and halfway through episode 3, they have the final battle with the Night Walkers and they kill the Night King. Like, this season's not over. Like, they killed this Nemesis dude well before season 6. Like, if anything, you'd think they'd make that like a season finale kind of episode. Nope, they put it right in like episode 4. What happens is, and this is the only reason I'm not super upset about it, Evil Morty shows back up because Rick's fucking around with some shit and it gets his attention. Evil Morty shows back up, and Evil Morty is actually the one that helps Rick find the evil Rick. And honestly, they have a big battle, and honestly, our Rick, the one that we've been following this whole time, or we think we have, he doesn't do so hot in the battle. He actually gets pretty fucked up, and it's actually Evil Morty that outfoxes and outmaneuvers Evil Rick and cripples him, binds him to a chair, and then he goes and brings our Rick into the chamber where he has Evil Rick strapped up, and he basically just says, "Here, kill him. You wanted to kill him. Kill him. Go ahead. Get your revenge." So it really comes down to like, yes, our Rick got his revenge and killed the evil version of himself that he's been hunting all this time, but he only accomplished it thanks to Evil Morty. Now, why was Evil Morty helping him? Why was Evil Morty even along for this journey? Well, it's because Evil Morty found out that Evil Rick possesses a weapon that with like a single use, it can wipe out all versions of a person across all realities. I think it's all realities. It might just be within the central finite curve, but I'm pretty sure it's all realities. Yeah, it is, because it says that he used it to kill Rick's wife across all realities. Not just Rick would just, if there was one out there outside the central finite curve, Rick would just go find her. But no. So Evil Morty wants to get his hand on that weapon. And he does. He gets his hands on the schematics for that weapon. He's going to build one. And he tells our Rick at the end, he's like, "I'm going to fuck off now back to being outside the central finite curve. Don't follow me. Don't come after me. I have this weapon now. Don't make me use it." He does imply that like having a super weapon, using a super weapon creates more problems than it solves. He says something along the lines of like, "Yeah, if I used it and I destroyed all Ricks across all realities, well then I'd have to deal with like a bunch of like infinite vengeful summers coming to like try and kill me." So he's like, "But just remember, like," he's like, "I don't really want to have to deal with that, but I have it now in my back pocket. Do not come after me." So Evil Morty's still out there. He worked with Rick. He even admits that our Rick might be different than other Ricks in some ways. But he still wants to be left alone. He's still out there outside the central finite curve, and now he has a super weapon that's capable of destroying all versions of someone across all realities. The show is getting bonkers. It's fucking good. There's just a lot of good humor. Hugh Jackman is in it. He voice acts and plays himself in an episode where they have to do an intervention for Mr. Poopy Butthole, but it just turns into them partying, and they end up like fighting a predator, and like it's a funny episode. There's good humor in here. There's another clip show episode where they try to do a clip show without a new way of doing a clip show, essentially, is that they try to figure out, and it's the worst of them so far. Like, they did interdimensional cable twice. They did the one where like Morty's mind blowers, and now it's just like, I don't know. It was okay. I didn't really enjoy it. I really could have take it or leave it. That was my attitude. I could have left it, but whatever. It wasn't too bad. Like I said, the big thing was, are these voice actors going to be able to nail it? And they do. So all they did was they lost Justin Roiland. So all they really lost was one guy that was contributing to the writing, and there were a plethora of people contributing to the writing. So the majority of the writing talent, the overwhelming, abundant majority of the writing talent is still there. And on top of that, they found voice actors that could do Rick and Morty's voice to a satisfying degree. Like I said, I really don't think I would have noticed Rick's difference if I hadn't been listening for it. But I was, so I detected it a little bit at the beginning. But like I said, by like episode 3, I had completely forgotten about it, and I was just watching normal Rick and Morty. So yeah, The season's not done yet. This is just my take on it so far. I don't think I'm gonna do a unless it does have some kind of like bonkers banana season finale or episode that has not yet been released. I'm probably not gonna do a second video on it. But yeah, so far, for those of you who are on the fence about it, like, oh, is it still Rick and Morty with the new voice actor? Yes, it is still 100% normal Rick and Morty. So yeah, take that for what you will. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Get a discussion started. Do you guys like this new season of Rick and Morty? Were you guys able to tell the difference in the voice actors, whatnot? Do you think the content, the quality, and everything is still the same? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to help out the channel even more, check out some of my other videos and subscribe. But other than that, I'll talk to you guys later.